Hello and welcome back. I'm Nick Boddington, and again I am joined by James, my co-founder, as Matt is still on annual leave. James, hello.
Hello. I'm back.
He's back again. So, episode 21. This week we're going to be discussing when a company is actually ready to use an agency. So, we're going to today talk about when a company is ready to use an agency. Now, this is more, you're going to really lead this one, which you'll love, so I don't talk as much, because James is front of house. If we were a restaurant, James is front of house, I'm back of house. And this is one of your things, because once we take clients on, one of the sort of things that we're navigating through at the moment really is taking clients on, and then at the back end, we then talk to the client, we're doing all the ads for the client, and we're obviously dealing with the front of house, like yourself and your team, to find out, what's going on, what's right and what's wrong. And there are some little things that we're trying to fix at the moment, which has led to the title of this one, of when a company is ready to use an agency. James, let it all out.
When is the right time?
When is the right time? Is that the question, or is that the question?
Just when is the right time? Because everyone has every business have, I guess, different objectives, don't they?
Yeah.
which is fine, which isn't the problem. I think the problem is when, and I think an agency should be employed once a business is ready to essentially relinquish that power.
Yeah. What? So yours? Go on.
Because from a back end perspective, we've got clients at the moment. They're over analysing our ads, and essentially getting involved when they shouldn't be. What they should be really looking at is what are the KPIs that you've hit that I've given you. Not, we saw this ad and we don't think it's performing exactly how we think. Oh, okay, sorry, you're the agency now. Apology, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So really, just give the audience an overview. When we do, so James runs the sales side. When we get a client, they sign up. Obviously, the sales guys know what they're talking about. They then get signed up, and then it goes over to client success, who then set up an onboarding call. Whoever's on that onboarding call will have a very quick overview for 10 minutes with the salesperson just to see what the company does, just so we don't go onto the call looking stupid, as in like, hey, welcome to LRS, we have no idea what you do. So that gets done. But what you're sort of saying, so we do that onboarding call and we go over everything that the client wants. We go over the KPIs the client wants. Do they want to look at ROAS? Do they want to look at leads? Is it the cost per lead? All this stuff. But what you're saying is like, we'll take a client to a ROAS that they want, but then it's not good enough again? Is that what you sort of mean?
Yeah, I guess it's a word I use is nitpick. You've got a lot of companies that or business owners, and it's typically the smaller, let's call them mama and papa outfits where they're still really close to the business.
Yeah.
And they're looking at every single pound that's being spent, which we all do, regardless whether that's you in your personal life or in work life. But if you're not ready to give someone that money, don't do it.
Yeah. If that money means too much for you, it's like we go out there. Like, we have a lot of success from the off with a lot of our clients, don't we? But like Matt is always reiterating, he's like, expect to lose money when you start advertising. Just expect it. Write it off. But people come in with a small amount of money, and it's like they want to make that back straight away. It's not going to happen. I mean, you see some of our bigger clients, they give a lot of whack out, don't they? Of like, this is just a test, $7,000. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Going back onto the podcast we did last week in terms of simplicity, it sort of ties back into that as well. In a way, doesn't it? Because like you said, and what Olivia said on previous podcasts, is that you've got a client that has employed us as an agency, so they trust us because they've gone, right, I'm going to use Let's Social. I trust that they've got my best interest at heart. Perfect. Here's some budget. Leave us be. Give us the targets we need to hit. leave us be, or leave whatever agency you're using, or if it's a freelancer, just let them be.
Yeah.
Don't go on and nitpick, I think is probably the best term.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, why aren't you running loads of different ads? Why aren't you using this copy? Oh, wait there. That's our job.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, so we've taken that new client on this week, which is a pretty big, decent client actually, aren't they? And they've got some history running ads. They're not a small company. I think there's like 20 of them working there. It's a startup, but you know they've got backers behind them and all that sort of stuff. But they've got some ads running, and we had that call when I was in the car this morning, and it was like that's going to be set up by the end of the day. They've signed off the ad strategy. We've gone for a pretty simple ad strategy, but the thing that makes us very optimistic is the fact that their ads have already been running, and they're actually doing all right. They're getting leads in for, you know, or they're getting an app download for like 98p, which is fine. So let's say £1 a download. But then as we've gone round the team looking at their current copy, none of the team, even us, looked at it and went, don't actually know what this company does. So we personally think it's little tweaks. Now they've left that in our capable hands to do that because that's what they've come to us for. They haven't got the time to sit there. They've made something work. They want it to work better. They've come to an agency like us and gone, we know, you know, you've got a great track record. We like what you've done. We're sold. Go ahead and do it. Now, as a business, they're all obviously going to have their KPIs and they want to make sure things are met. But you're right, they have to leave it to us. But maybe, could this be, now we're not unique. There are plenty of good agencies. Unfortunately, there are more bad agencies. But, you know, we know of the agencies out there that are really good and deliver like we do. So it's not like we're unique. But at the same time, do you think that you've just got a lot of customers, clients who've done this before, whether it's Facebook, whether it's AdWords, whether they're just working with agencies, and they're just used to that whole general agency not really caring, not actually delivering, having that once a meeting. You know, what was that one we saw not so long back where they said they hadn't hit their KPIs and they said, oh, let's see how we can get on for another, you know, these next 3 months should be a bit different. All they're doing is extending a contract to try and fix it again.
Yeah, well, that particular agency went to their quarterly review. Jesus, you know, I'd love a client not to want to know what we're up to for 3 months. But and they didn't even bring any statistics or reporting. They said, "Oh, it was down at the time, so we can't bring anything." Well, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So, do you think our background in the database industry, we've always just thought it was just the only industry, but I think I think most industries are the same. I think you have the people at the top who, you know, the 1% who really do things well and they deliver for the clients and blah, blah. And we always reiterate, we only have your best interests at heart. And we genuinely do have the client's best interests at heart. We're not just trying to get a paycheck. It's like we want them to, because we believe in the longevity. It's like, you know, if we make it right for a client, that client is never going to leave. And we're always just going to be building up clients with a very, very few clients leaving. In fact, most of the clients that leave us, it's an agreed situation or we fired the client. Because of what we're talking about,
yeah,
which is that client ready for it?
Yeah, and you never want to fire a client, do you? But it goes down to why have you gone out to the market? Why have you gone out to the market and gone, I need to outsource this? So why are those? Is it because they've never done it before and they haven't got that skill set and they have no idea what they're doing? In truth, they're probably better from an agency's perspective or a freelancer's perspective than it is having someone that's tried it themselves, got a little bit of success, and then gone, actually, no, listen to this podcast or, you know, reading some reviews online or been marketed to, and gone, actually, yeah, that agency, they could pretty elevate what I'm doing.
Mm.
They then employ the agency, but because they have a knowledge of what they're doing, they're then going in, looking, and spying in a way, aren't they? You know, we've got clients that go in and spy on what we're doing, really, and go, oh, you know, this video isn't performing as it were. Well, no, but there's a reason why it's still running, because actually it's contributing to these factors here. Oh, I didn't realise that. Yeah, but the 20 minute we've had fucking explaining this to you could be 20 minutes on your account. So again, leave the freelancer alone or the agency you're using, and just, but the problem
is that unfair from us, Joe, do you think? because it's the client's their money. It's like, well, I'm the client, I'm paying you, I want to make sure it's right. Because we do get to that trust point, don't we? Like we've seen it with the clients that have been with us for ages. They've come in, and some of them are some of our first clients who are still with us now. And if we look at the jewellery company, you know, Faye's sort of looking after that account now, and she's made it better than I made it. Like I was getting 2.5 ROAS, she's now getting minimum of 3.5 ROAS for it. But there's things that come into it. We've now got Faye and Liv are looking after that jewellery client. It's jewellery. Look, all hands up. I can use the algorithm and stuff like that, but writing what sort of copy, looking at the jewellery and thinking what's going to resonate with that audience, it's you know, it's better for the girls to look after that account. Fine, I'll look after other accounts which are to do with cars or whatever because I'm interested in that sort of stuff. So it's that sort of stuff. But you know, you get to a certain stage where the client is then like Henrika has said to us, as long as it's above 3 ROAS, do what you like, and just keep on upping the budget and scaling it.
But you're right, it is the client's money. But if you're going to go in and again use that word spy on what they're doing, don't employ them. You know, and that's my opinion. You know, the things that we outsource, I've never met 2 people that we employ or outsource work to. So one is our social media content, because I'm a big believer that with some of the content for our own business, we wear rose tinted glasses. So some of the copy that we've used in the past, I've looked back at it and had a copywriter go, James, it's shit. Which is great, fantastic. But I'm not going to sit there and go, oh no, it's really good because I wrote it. I don't care. My result is people seeing and reading it, resonating with people. Now if that takes someone from the outside to go, actually it's not very good, then we need that as a business. Not a lot of many companies are like that.
Yeah. It's also the size of the company as well, isn't it? Because they're not... so when you're going back to like a small business owner being, you know, close to the money, watching every penny that gets spent, when you're dealing with a larger company that maybe you've got a marketing team or a couple of people there, no one's emotional about that money. Yes, we've got the best interest at heart. We're only going to want them to make money, but no one's emotional about it. Because it's company money, it's spend, it's budget that's been put aside. If you don't deliver, we get sacked. Simple as. If we do deliver, they up their budgets and we keep getting paid.
But there's 2 very different emotions there. You've got one that's a business owner, which is in love with their brand, the concept, just it's their baby. So that's one emotion. We've then got the emotion of a marketing manager or CMO or marketing director who doesn't want to fucking lose their job. So both are in very, very similar-ish positions. One, their own money's on the line. The second is their own money and their income is on the line.
Yeah, because if they've chosen the wrong agency, blah, blah, and they're the one on the day-to-day, they're going to get in the ship by the management, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm sure no one's going to get sacked because they've run a few Facebook ads, but still, it's that same concept, isn't it? There's 2 very different emotions there. The one with the CMOs and the marketing managers and the like, they still want this to perform because they will still have KPIs they want to hit. But they're not, they're not really like emotionally investing in that product or service or that brand.
Yeah, and they're busy. We get left alone a lot more. You know, so we have it from Matt and I's point of view. If we're going onto the accounts, we'll have a client call every 4 to 6 weeks to look at strategy and stuff. Otherwise, it's left with the account managers.
Yeah. But we've got a platform in place, so all our clients can log in on a daily, hourly, secondly basis and see what we're getting up to and actually look at the results. And not only look at the results today or yesterday, months ago. So if they want to start analysing what we're doing, we've given that client the tools to be able to do that, because again, we're very transparent what we do. And in terms of the podcast last week, in terms of simplicity, you had a call with Theo, who's on next week, about his ads. Now, he wants to test more different audiences and the like, but he hasn't got the money. He hasn't given us more budget. So, as we alluded to last week, we need to keep it simple, and then on this week's podcast, fucking leave us alone to do it, pretty much.
Yeah.
But you are right, it is striking the balance between, yes, that is the client's money, but like I said, in my personal opinion, is that if you fully can't remove yourself from it, physically can't do it, don't outsource.
Yeah.
Because all it's going to do is it's going to tire you out, and it's also going to tire the agency or the freelancer out. Because we're one of the good guys. Like I said, we really want this to work for our clients, and we do a lot more work than just, hey, here's a Facebook ad. We actually look at client strategies. Actually a lot of sort of going to market. A lot of ideas on how people can go to market, which is going to create a cheaper CPA. So we're not just your typical Facebook agency, which is like, oh, here you go, we'll run an ad.
Absolutely.
But it is really hard. But I'm the more we learn as well. We're new to this whole world, but I do truly believe unless you can fully remove yourself away and fully trust that freelance or agency, just don't do it.
Yeah. So what about let's say people who pay us to consult? So let's say they're running Facebook ads, or they're a company with a team or whatever, and they're doing it. If they're not ready at the stage to do it, what about going to someone who can actually go in for an hour a month or 2 hours a month and consult them on what they're doing?
Yeah, and that's something we're actually discussing internally, as at the moment, because I've got, I truly believe that there's hundreds of thousands of companies in the world that are sort of between being able to use an agency but also not skilled enough to do it themselves. They're skilled to a degree and they're able to go in and run an ad. And as you know, I'm all for the little guy. The big corporates are great in the world, but I'm trying to help the world. And there is that small market there that will buy a course online, or they've bought a course and it's got them, like even Faye, who sits under Unique as a junior. She was working for an estate agency firm as an apprentice. She wanted to get into digital marketing. Off her own back, bought a course for, I think it was like $3 or $4 grand. And this is a girl that's 18 at the time when she bought this course. She paid the money, did the course, and then she started looking for jobs as well as doing the apprenticeship. She emailed us, didn't she, that evening, saying
out of all the CVs that we get, especially at this time when there's a lot of jobs, people are unemployed out there, she was the only person that sent us an email.
She sent us the email, and I called her that night, and she was pretty much employed 2 days later, if not that day. I think it was ridiculous.
It was that. Yeah, no, it was that day. We both got on the call to her, and she even had our call at 8 o'clock at night. Yeah,
that's someone that, if you looked at that from a business owner's perspective, there are people like Faye out there, but from when Faye started, her knowledge from then to now, she wouldn't have been able to get to where she's got to through a course type scenario.
No, not with what she's no.
No, but that's most business owners that are trying Facebook ads.
Yeah.
And they have got, like I said, anyone can whack an ad up.
Well, yeah, our course teaches you how to do all that, doesn't it? It's just the fact that you need to be in the tools and working as a team, in and out, to really get knowledgeable on how it works.
Because don't forget, business owners have got 1 in a million things to do. The end of the quarter comes for VAT, you've got to figure out how you're going to get that lower. Every month you've got, you pay YE and all the staff to pay. Then your email marketing breaks. Then you've got sales calls to do. Then you've got to sort staff issue. There's so much to do. And Facebook ads, as we know, isn't something you can just leave and just leave it to ferment. You can't. You've got to be on it daily.
Yeah, I just think it's far. There's just not many agencies that work like we do in all different types of digital marketing. There's just a lot of shit, isn't there?
Well, I was on the call yesterday with an agency friend of ours, Nick, Martin and Ben, who are media buyers for a lot of the charity sector, and I was showing him our dashboard, which again is that one where people can go on live, clients, and see what results they've got, and he was astounded. Like, he was in shock, going, so they have access to this? So, yeah, absolutely, they could just go on and see what we're doing. And they're like, he was cool. Wow, I've seen no one do this. Whether it's YouTube, whether it's PPC, no one's doing this. I was like, we, from my opinion, we're a good agency. I've got nothing to hide. Not every ad's going to work. We know that. We know we're going to get there. Here it is. Here's the keys to our castle in a way. Crack on.
Completely.
But then that business owner, surely they would want to see that. They'd want that transparency. But also, if they see that if they want that transparency and they see an ad that isn't working, yeah, don't get me wrong, pop an email over and go, look, just have a look on the system. This one ad, from what I can tell, isn't working. There's a difference between going, this ad isn't working, or can you sort of explain why it's still on? That's one thing. Going, it's rubbish, turn it off, don't like the copy. You know, there's a reason why we're using that copy. There's a reason why that agency's using that creative or that headline. Leave us be.
Because it works. Like, we've had clients in the past, haven't we, where we've had something get amazing ROAS, and then they've not wanted to use that image, and we've never had another one work. I'm just going to plug myself in. I'm still here. And we've never had another one work, have we?
Well, it was the baby product, wasn't it? That one ad was getting 16 times its return. The company we were working with at the time asked us to take that ad down because the creative looked a bit pixelated. It wasn't really, was it? You know,
I didn't see it. I didn't see any pixelation.
I didn't see it, and we turned it off, and we did make it very clear that your whole account would go down to about 9 or 10, and it did, and we got told off. Didn't we? You know, that was the reality. We got told off.
Yeah. You
know, were they ready for an agency? You know, it's that really in between, I think, of companies that have got more marketing spend or sales spend. They know enough about it, and they're happy, just like I said, to just leave it alone. It's up to you now. You know, I've chosen the best company, agency, freelancer to help me. Just trust them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like I said, you'll be knackered. Like, knackered.
Oh, it's too much to keep on top of, isn't it?
It's impossible, especially if you've got PPC going. You're chasing them as well and spying on what they're doing. And SEO, and you're doing marketing. You know, if you're outsourcing all of that, you know, it's a lot, and especially if you're using different agencies. You know, but in truth, using different agencies is probably the best because you've got specialists in that field. You know, there are very few agencies that, you know, are a jack of all trades, you know, and do all, and the master of all. There's very few of them.
Yeah, it's the holy grail, isn't it, really, for the agency world?
It's impossible, in my opinion. You know my thoughts on that, but I just can't see it. But I think, yeah, like I said, if you're going to market to try and find an agency, first of all, they're not bloody cheap. Let's make that really clear. And there's a reason they're not cheap. You know, there's a phrase, isn't there, Nick? Buy twice, pay once. With cars.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I am asking you.
I don't know.
I'm sure I can't.
Well, we're like second-hand cars. You go something cheap and you buy once, but you're paying twice.
Yes.
Because you end up having to go and get it fixed and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and it's the same with agencies. You know, there are some agencies that, you know, they are cheap, and I'm sure it makes total sense for them, but they're not. You know, when you look at the overheads and the time we spend on accounts, you know, if you're seeing an invoice come through of £200 from an agency, I'd ask why, personally.
Well, we're always having to change, aren't we? Like, since we've started, we've diversified not in what we do, as in it's just Facebook ads. But we've diversified in how we serve things and how we package things up, and the odd little bit where we've done a bit of creative for someone as a bit of a favour. All these sort of things, you suddenly realise it can't be done, and there is a reason why good agencies have to charge for all this, because it's valuable.
Massively, and that, you know, that's, again, agencies aren't cheap. So, you know, going out to market and, you know, thinking you're going to find, you know, again, someone that's, you know, got your best interest at heart, have got some really good, you know, testimonials and case studies, because I think that's really important as well. You know, when you are going out and trying to find an agency, is there one that specialises in your field? So if you're in medical, if you're in insurance, if you're mortgage broking, is there an agency that specialises in your field? I think that's one that I would really recommend, personally.
Yes, staying in a niche. And never trust anyone who says, yes, we can get you results.
Yes. Yes.
Because you don't know until you've tried. Unfortunately, there is that gamble, isn't there, of is it going to get picked up? I mean, we talk about our guttering company. The results we get for that company are obscene. And if you were to put all of our clients down on a table and say, right, for what they all do, pick out the ones that you think will be the winners, it wouldn't have happened, would it?
that particular client we have is just it's absurd, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
it's
completely.
So yeah, I'd think try and find, again, if you're a business owner, you're going out to market, try and find someone if you can that specialises in your niche, if they're there, if they're generally there. So the ones that are quite big at the moment, you're probably seeing are coaches. So people are trying to sell an online course. There's every man and his dog are trying to get to that marketplace, and the same with e-commerce. The thing with e-commerce is that it's a very broad marketplace. We've got a lot of e-commerce clients, Nick, as you know, but we don't specialise in one field. We don't. But there are companies that go, right, we just specialise in retail, fashion or certain sort of manufacturing products. There are ones out there, but unless you see some really good case studies or testimonials, I'd be not cautious, but I'd be a bit, and video testimonials. If their clients, if you're doing such a good job for that client or that agency is, they'd be happy to go on camera and say these guys are amazing. Won't they?
Absolutely.
So you've got to look for case studies and video testimonials. For me personally, I think Nick, you and I have all both purchased items based on a video testimonial.
Yeah.
And then price.
Yeah.
These guys aren't cheap. We're not cheap. That's just the nature of the beast. And yeah, they can't guarantee shit.
They can't. Like if they sit there and send you over saying, "Oh yeah. Oh, so you can do. Oh yeah. We'll get you results in this." Like we're optimistic for all the things. The clients we take on, we're optimistic about, of course. But and we understand it. We always have to think. We think hard. Can we deliver for this client? Can we create longevity with this client? Like, will they be with us in a year's time or 2 years' time because the results are so good?
Because it's hard. Because you want to, you want to sit there and ease anyone's concerns, business owners' concerns. So yeah, well, based on X, Y, and Z, we'd like to sit there and say we can guarantee you X, but we can't, because even if you are in the same industry, let's say as a mortgage broker as an example, we may have 4 mortgage broker clients all getting a similar-ish cost per lead, but this new client we have may have awful copy, may have an awful converting website.
The creative's just dog.
The creative might be rubbish. The back end might be crap. So they're all parts of the puzzle.
Yeah.
We've got to,
But because we've got 4 others, we would see what works. So then you'd be like, look, if we're able to do the creative, which in a lot of cases we are, you could be like, okay, that's fine, but we're going to need to you're going to need to do all this first to get the results that we're getting for other people, and that's going to cost you X.
Well, look how many clients we've had to turn away and say, look, go away and figure this out. There's 2 clients at the moment we've paused because we know all we're doing at the moment is sort of just filling up this pipeline for them, but there's no follow-up. So, 2 of the guys have gone away to figure those out, and we've said, look, go and do this, and then come back in a couple of months once it's sorted. And they're really appreciative of that. I had a client yesterday where guy with that lottery type company. There's too much going on and too many moving parts at the moment that I can see on his website before he's driving traffic to it. There's no point. All I'm going to do is waste the guy's money.
Yeah.
Now, would most agencies tell him that? I don't know. Probably not. But I'm just not going to sit there and bullshit the guy and say, oh yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, give it, come on. Because he wants to, he's referred to us for another company, seen the results we've got and gone, yeah, I want to work with these guys. But he can't. He's not ready. Not that he personally isn't ready. Actually, the business ready.
Yeah.
So it's all good and well. It's all good and well. The client, let's use that term again, spying. But actually, is the business set up to take on an agency?
And from a scaling point of view, we want to get the ads working and scale it. If they're selling the product out of their bedroom, suddenly it's hard to scale because it's like, well, how if we can get X amount of orders, or it's also the fact of one of the accounts I was looking at this morning, they're not spending enough. So the guys have gone, look, can you have a look at this account? And you have a look at it, and it's like, okay, well, the click-through rates, click-throughs there, blah, 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 blah. But then it's ending up, being, they're wanting £20 to £30 for a purchase. And it's a membership group. So once they know they're making a loss on the way in, but if they keep them there for 6 months, they've got a lifetime value. So they understand all that. But they're not spending enough.
Is that Gemma?
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
the spend's not high enough.
Yeah, and that's, I know we touched on last week, is that, if you've got £15 a day and your cost per acquisition is 30, you're going to get one on every 2 days. That's just how it works. It's not, this isn't rocket science.
But Facebook's also having trouble getting you into the auction.
Massively.
Because it's like, well, you're not giving me enough money.
Yeah, but it's interesting, that one actually. Is the business ready? Not only is the person in control ready to, again, relinquish that power, but actually the business set up for it. How many clients have we got, Nick? Realistically, we now want to scale. But how many of those businesses are, on a percentage wise, what do you reckon? How many of those are actually set up to scale?
Well, we're finding even with the big hitters, with the big ROAS, they're still not, aren't they? Facebook has beaten their expectations, and they're like, we got to really think about how we get this product out. And we can't do anything more for them, really.
Well, there's a few like that, isn't there? They've actually said, look, we can't manufacture this stuff quick enough. Now, from my point of view, I think
it's a business growing thing, isn't it? I mean, what a fantastic position to be in, that you found a channel that can actually completely scale your business, and you've got to go away and figure out how you're going to do that. Frustrating for us because we just want to keep on turning the budgets up. But
yeah, of course, yeah. I laughed when it went up, Nick. I laughed. I just, yeah.
Like, we don't know, so we try everything. Like, all our clients, they take the piss out of us, don't they? Because they'll ask a question and they'll go, it's all right, I know the answer, we test it. And it's like, yeah, because you think it's a great video, I think it's just hilarious, you think it's hilarious, but let's try it out. I'm in the wrong, you're in the wrong, the client's in the right, because it's coming back at bloody 19 return on investment. It's not even trying to sell anything, it's telling you how to clean a gutter.
When I actually looked at the results on Wednesday or Tuesday afternoon, £440 had been spent on it at the time, and it was just under £7,000 return.
I know. So that's a business. That's a business with warehouses, staff. Like, yeah. It's an established business, but they've got to a stage now where they're like, we want to scale their business, and they're like, there's certain we've got to look at our warehousing. We've got to look at how we actually get this out now. But fantastic position for them to be in, because essentially every time we've ever upped their budget or done anything new, it's worked. Pretty much worked. We turned on another ad for them yesterday and it got 19 ROAS. No, 33, 34 ROAS yesterday. I know it's one day and you can't look at that much, but it is like, wow.
So a company like that then, would you say they are ready to scale? Is that business, because when they first came to us, they weren't sold worthy on social media.
Well, we didn't get, the MD was not even on the call, was he, for 3 months?
No,
5 months, because he was like, here's some money, let me see. Here's some money to the marketing team. I'm prepared to lose it. Go and look, just, you think it works, there's $5,000 over 3 months. Came back after 3 months. He then came on a call because we'd made, I can't remember what it was now. It was a ridiculous amount, wasn't it? We'd done 250,000 or something. It was something stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'd hit 250, and the spend was at the time about 17 grand or something ridiculous.
So it was like, I'll go on a call now, and now he's the one who's going to do the testimonial for us on a Zoom call.
Yes. Yeah.
We've taken that from don't believe in it to there's a testimonial on a Zoom call.
That's a really good example there. Actually, Anthony, the MD of that particular company, was happy to relinquish the power and just go, guys, look, the marketing manager, Fiona, here's some money for social. You believe in it. I don't. Here's some money. Prove it. Not a problem. They're the ones that, most agencies will go, great, let's prove them wrong. Again, if Anthony was in the, within Ads Manager going, oh, what's going on here, what's going on there, that could potentially have caused an issue.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really understand. Well, he wouldn't have got in anyway. But,
and he wasn't sold even after the first 5,000, and he got a 16% return on that, 16 ROAS on the first 5,000 in the test period, those first 3 months. He was still asking questions when I first met him of, he's still not completely sold.
No.
But he is now.
Well, I was going to say, I've not met him. I know you've been.
I've not seen him. Yeah, so on his second year, when they keep up with their budgets, on their full second year of working with us, I don't think there's any reason why they won't do towards $1 million in revenue from their Facebook advertising.
Wow. It's not bad, is it?
Because we know the ROAS, don't we? We know the return.
Yeah.
If they basically at the moment, if they spend about $8 on the results at the moment, if they can spend £8,000 to £10,000 a month on Facebook, they'll do $1 million a year from it.
It's not bad, is it?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So what are we saying then? What?
So conclusion to this.
Conclusion. If you're a business owner now, what 2 or 3 things do you need to consider before going out to an agency? Can you afford it?
Yeah.
B, are you willing to give it enough time?
Yeah, that's the other thing, isn't it? We didn't kick on that. How much time are you prepared to give, and how much budget? The people want all this. The times, the product has to be absolutely spot on, really, to be able to go, here's £500 a month, make this work. It's like, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, as a minimum, you need to give them 6 months, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's a 2,000 to 3,000 a month.
Oh, yeah, because it's you can't, depending on what the service or product is. This isn't like an overnight success story. It's not. We tell everyone that before they come on board with us. You may have run ads before, but we're starting from scratch. Yeah, we'll take some learnings, but we are starting from scratch. So, I stress this isn't. You're not going to look at the account tomorrow and go, "God, you guys are amazing." It doesn't work like that. Whether they use us or, big agency in London or a freelancer, it doesn't matter. Those results aren't going to be instantaneous. So I think I think giving enough time. I think personally 6 months is enough time to go, was it successful or not? Or has this got the foundations to be successful? Depending on the products or services.
And the thing is, if the agency's got a good track record, we in 6 months, a worst case scenario, they've broken even.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd like to think so, bloody hell. Wouldn't you, really?
Yeah, with most of our clients, we can say on average, the worst case scenario, it's a break even, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say most of our clients are well over that, really, Nick. Well over break even. But so I think definitely time. I think it's just finding people you want to work with. Really, I think that's really an important one as well. If you don't like working with that company, don't.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than being on calls all day with people you can't stand, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to have a good working relationship.
Yeah, because then it's fun, isn't it? So I think from my perspective, there's I don't know from your side, from an ad perspective, I guess budget's one.
Yeah, well, it affects a budget. Yeah, but it affects the talking to your agency too much affects that agency as well, and it affects that relationship, doesn't it? Because it's like, come on, please. I understand you're a client. I completely respect that, but it's like, this is hard work now. This is like taking a lot of time.
Give me a break, I think you were trying to.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's that trust phase, and I get it, and we have to say it to our team a lot. It's like, look, they're in that trust phase at the moment. We need to build that trust up. So I get it.
Yeah, but there's a lot, isn't there? There's not just those. It's they're looking at yourself and your own business, saying, well, actually, are we able to take these on? Is the money there? Have we got the time? Are the budgets there? What's our current conversion rates from cold traffic? Have we got a back end strategy set up? If that is what your business is sort of reliant on, is repeat custom. Well, if that's not set up, don't employ an agency because it's not going to help at all, is it? It's just going to. It's not a long term strategy. Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's where we are. Let's wrap this up. So thanks for listening, everyone. Matt will be back on next week, but we've also got our new podcast episodes.
Yeah, Matt's back on, isn't he?
Matt will be back on the normal one with me, and then we've got our extra cast starting next Friday, haven't we? So that'll be out the week after.
Yes, the 19th. Theo's coming.
Yeah, so in a way,
Hopefully Theo listens to this one before. Leave us alone.
He's not. He's all right. He's not a problem. We don't hear from him. He's completely leaves it to us.
And we're back with Matt next week. So
brilliant. Okay, remember guys, there's the Facebook group, private group, which you're invited to as listeners. So go there. That's the Let's Run Facebook Ads group, and put your request in. We'll accept you into the group. We can start chatting.